Welcome back, guys. Welcome to another edition of Talking Ball. Today discussing Jayson Tatum with Jeremy and John and Alex. And yeah, what type of player is he? He's a smooth scorer, I think. He's able to really score from the mid-range area. He's a great athlete. He's got a good build to him already as a freshman in college. He's definitely a capable rebounder. He's averaging 8 boards a game so far through his first 7 games. And he's definitely a capable defender. Now, Jeremy, what types of things have you seen for him that are kind of, I guess, maybe concerns?
Well, to start off, he missed the first half of the season that has taken place so far. I think one thing that he struggled from is the field. Some of the more important games that have gone down to just a few points between what they scored and their opponent, he's taking 22 shots and only making 7 of them. So
talking about the Elon game
specifically, he had another game where he shot 4 for 11, which isn't as bad, but if you're taking upwards of 20, 25 shots, you got to make sure that you're on it, you're hot, and you're making them. You can't take low percentage shots all night and expect to get 20, 25 points out of it,
Right, and to some extent, some of that is coming back from injury.
I agree.
Getting adjusted to the college game as a freshman to some extent, but you're definitely right. Taking too many low percentage shots over the course of a game, taking too many 3-pointers as well. He's a decent 3-point shooter. I don't think he's a great one by any means, but where he is very productive and efficient is in that mid-range area where he can use some of his, post skills and post scoring abilities like he showed against Florida. If you look up against Kenyon Barry, he really took him to work in that low to mid post area in that game, and he really played well in that Florida game. But the other thing that you look for from Tatum is his ability to get to the free throw line.
Right, someone his size, you expect him to take the ball all the way to the basket every here and there, and he's shooting upwards of 90% from the free throw. So you expect him to at least realize, I'm more efficient from the free throw line and down low. There's no reason for me to take threes all game.
Exactly, and I think that's what the mentality he's got to get back to. He's playing on a team with a great 3-point shooter in Luke Kennard, but the rest of that team isn't shooting the ball from 3 particularly well at all. And so maybe that's part of what's going on with Tatum is that
he feels he needs to fill the void and be a second option,
from beyond the arc. But I think what he needs to stick to is what he does well, which is that scoring from the mid-range area.
I agree.
So you guys just mentioned that he's not really a great 3-point shooter. Do you think that once he gets his mid-range and low-post game down pat, you think he can develop into a better 3-point shooter, a complimentary guy?
Oh, for sure. I think he can definitely shoot the 3. I just don't think right now it's an area of skill for him that's particularly high. And I think that the other 2 areas you just said are areas that he is very good at. And I think that's why he should stick to those areas, especially in the next few games for Duke, because you don't know if Grayson Allen's going to be playing with that indefinite suspension. And so his level of play and his shooting percentages, as Jeremy said, really needs to improve over the next couple of games. And it will happen if he shoots from the areas that he is more comfortable in.
So, from down low in the post, do you think that he has the ability to run the offense down low as opposed to someone relying on Jefferson or trying to kick it out to Kennard or Allen if he plays? Do you think that he has the ability to be the playmaker?
Yes and no. I think that at times he can be, but I think and maybe that will happen more so as he develops into because he's going to play in the NBA. Obviously, this guy's a lottery pick. And so maybe down the road, if he develops more, but as of right now, as a freshman in college, he definitely has some inconsistencies with his decision making. And so asking him to be a primary playmaker, I think would be a bit much at this point in his career. For sure.
So for whoever drafts him, do you think that it's going to be more important that the team already has the pieces to build around him, or is he going to be the center between the for a team?
Right. I think that he could potentially be both. I think that, if they already have pieces around him, that's great. But he's going to need time to develop in the NBA. And I wouldn't expect him or really even want him to be on a playoff caliber team right away. I think he needs a couple of years to kind of just get used to the NBA. the flow. But eventually, yeah, I do think he could be the best player and average upwards of 20 points a game on a playoff caliber team.
Like you said, you think he's going to go in the lottery as we all expect, so he's not going to be going to a team that is already a playoff team.
Correct.
So, do you have any idea on who he could follow or what kind of team he would be better to be placed on initially, at least? Because we expect him to go and develop over time, maybe make a transition to one of those teams. Do you think that there's one in particular that could use him?
Right. I mean, every time you bring up a lottery discussion and you're looking for a team fit, the first team you go to is obviously the Sixers, if they're not a center. And so, obviously, I think he'd look great on a team like the Sixers, who, as of right now, Ben Simmons hasn't debuted yet, but you're looking at him as their primary playmaker, and Embiid, obviously, as their long-term future at center. And so you could use a nice complementary wing scorer, and I think Tatum could definitely fill in there. But another team that I look at and I see as a really nice potential fit for him would be the Pelicans. When you look at that team, they could definitely use a secondary scorer and just somebody else who can do something besides Anthony Davis on a consistent basis. And obviously, they have Drew Holiday, they have Buddy Hield, they even have Tyreek Evans, I guess, at the 3. But really, if you look at Jayson Tatum, I think he'd be a very nice fit there down in New Orleans with Anthony Davis. But yeah, guys, that's what we have to say here about Jayson Tatum. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below, and please remember to subscribe for more great content in the future. Thanks for listening.